This story is based on an old Greek legend. Once, there was a shepherd who worked for the king of Lydia. His name was Gyges. One day, a great storm came crashing in the plains. Then, an earthquake followed that made an opening on the earth's crust, at the place where Gyges was feeding his flock. To his curiosity, Gyges went down the great hole. Stooping to look in, he discovered a hollow bronze horse, of which inside was an ancient corpse wearing nothing but a golden ring. Excited and without hesitation, Gyges took the ring. As Gyges was resting with his fellow shepherds in the dusk, he twisted the ring on his finger, turning the head inward to his palm. Instantly, he became invisible to his fellows, who began to speak of him as if he were no longer there.
Where's Gyges? I just blinked. Where did he go? He didn't even say goodbye.
Gyges was astonished by this. Giving the ring another twist, he reappeared. Before long, Gyges, our humble shepherd, used his power to his personal advantage. One day, he arranged to be one of the messengers sent to report to the king. And when he arrived to the kingdom, he used his invisibility to sneak into the room of the queen. Gyges seduced the queen. Killed the king with her help, and took over the kingdom of Lydia. This story is known as the myth of Gyges.
So, before we proceed to dissect the story for its relevance and arguments, let's give it a little context first. The Ring of Gyges tale, the story, is from Plato's The Republic. You know, the dialogue about justice, city-states, the just man, and all that, although it comes from that dialogue, from Plato's dialogue, the story is actually told by Colinne. Yun. When they were arguing about justice to prove a point he is trying to make. Ang sabi ni Colinne, as he argues in the book 2 of the Republic, is that there are three types of goods daw. Una ay yung intrinsic goods that are valued on themselves alone. Pangalawa, yung goods na valued on their own but also valued for their results. And yung pangatlong type ay yung goods na valued not on their own but for their results alone. So yung una is yung goods that are valued in themselves alone. In simpler words, goods that we want to do because we enjoy them, like playing a game or eating junk food for the fun of it. We do them because they make us feel good. Pangalawa naman yung goods daw na not only for their own but also for the results that they give us. So they make us feel good and help us attain other good things or help us to do other good things. Like kunyari, we study. Maybe some of you enjoy studying, so they help you, gain knowledge, or like other people keep fit by enjoying the act of working out or eating healthy, di ba? So those are goods that make you feel good and help you attain good stuff. And lastly, yung pangatlong type ay yung goods daw na valued not on their own, but for their results alone. Like, you wouldn't do that thing because you enjoy them. Like, you wouldn't do that thing if wala siyang benefit sa'yo, or you wouldn't do it just because. There's literally no reason to do it. After that, Colinne asks, what type of goods daw yung justice? Socrates says justice ay yung pangalawa. Yung something people would enjoy doing, and something that people would get something good out of. And most of us would probably agree with that, the belief that people would enjoy being just and would enjoy the results of being just. Ne? And Glaucon, on the other hand, argues that justice is not the case. It is actually of the third category. This then also assumes that justice isn't natural for us, and it's a compromise that we have with people. Something similar to the social contract theory ni John Locke, but not quite. The question that the tale of the Ring of Gyges is trying to answer, like, are we naturally just or unjust? More on that as our good friend Chow here dissects and explains the concepts and ideas that can be found in the story.
Okay, thank you Tim for the brief background about the conversation of Socrates and Glaucon with regards to justice and injustice. But before we proceed, ano bang origin ng justice? Kanina pa natin siya sinasabi, kanina pa pinag-uusapan. Ano ba yung justice? Ano yung origin niya? What is its nature? In the conversation of Glaucon with Socrates, which centers around the concept of justice and injustice, Glaucon stated the following: doing injustice is good by nature, while suffering injustice is evil. Thus, the first statement tells us that doing unjustly acts is the right thing. Tama ba ang pagnanakaw, pagpatay, pangungurakot, o pagsisinungaling? Well, the answer is no. Doing such things is not and will never be correct or ethical in any way. Common sense. But they are described as good by nature because they satisfy our desires. For example, bakit ba nangungurakot ang mga politiko kahit na mali? Siyempre, para yumaman sila. Bakit nagnanakaw ang mga tao? Para magkapera. Bakit nag-cheat ang isang estudyante? Para makakuha ng mataas na marka. Doing unjustly acts make things easier. That is why it is considered good. Now, why is suffering injustice evil? Simple lang. When we experience injustice, it affects us negatively. Pag nanakawan tayo, pag di natin mabibili mga kailangan nating bilhin dahil nawala yung pera natin. Pag niloko tayo ng ating girlfriend, boyfriend, asawa, ka-relationship, tayo yung nagsasuffer emotionally, masakit. In short, suffering injustice does not feel good. That is why Glaucon described it as evil, kabaligtaran ng good, which is doing injustice. He also said that evil is greater than good. Ibig sabihin, mas malaki or mas matimbang ang effect kapag nag-suffer tayo ng injustice kesa kapag tayo ang gumawa ng injustice. Paano to? Bakit? One example is the movie The Purge. Sa movie na to, people were given a chance to commit any crime without paying the consequences or facing the law. Now, if you were issued an opportunity to participate, sasali ka ba? Well, definitely tempting. Tempting yung offer. Kasi imagine, you can do anything you want without suffering the consequences. Pwede mong gawin kahit anong gusto mo, kahit illegal pa yan. Hindi ka mapaparusahan ng law. Pwede kang magnakaw, pwede kang, sorry for the word, pumatay, or pwede ka ding, sorry for the word again, mang-rape. But the thing is, Pwede ring mangyari sa'yo yung mga balak mong gawin. Pwede ka ring manakawan, pwede ka ring patayin, pwede ka ring gulpihin. Now, if we follow or we will apply Glaucon's idea that evil is greater than good, we will decline the offer because we would prefer not to suffer injustice than be able to do it but possibly suffer injustice as well. It is better not to have both. Take this for example, sa purge ulit. Pwede ka pumatay, di ba? Pero pwede ka ring mamatay. And pag namatay ka na, wala na.
Finish na.
That is why, to prevent such situations, we create rules, we create agreements, we create laws because we want to prevent people from doing injustice and at the same time, prevent ourselves from suffering injustice. And that, according to Glaucon, is the origin and nature of justice. Now the question is, why do we submit to such rules and laws? Bakit kailangan nating sumunod? Ano bang meron? Dahil ba alam natin na tama ang pagsunod sa batas and mali yung paggawa ng mga masasamang bagay tulad ng pagnanakaw, pagpatay, pangungurakot? Well, according to Glaucon, the answer is no. People follow laws and act justly not because it is correct or ethical, but because they need to. Ang tanong, bakit? Bakit kailangan nila? Kasi kapag di mo sinunod yung law, may parusa ka. Same with performing good deeds. Di ka gumagawa ng mabuti dahil alam mong tama yung ginagawa mo, but ine-expect mo na merong reward na kapalit. The reward can be money, honor, or fame, or kahit anong kapalit. So in short, we submit such concepts because of our self-interest. Kasi imagine, kung may tao na gumagawa ng masama pero hindi napaparusahan, hindi nagsasuffer ng injustice, like yung mga ginagawa niya, kuwari nagnanakaw siya, pumapatay siya, pero hindi niya mararanasan yung mga yon kahit ilang beses niya pang gawin. Sa tingin niyo ba susunod siya sa laws? Hindi. Kasi wala namang dahilan kung bakit kailangan niya sumunod. Since wala siyang dapat katakutan, walang consequences, and di siya magsasuffer ng injustice. That is why in the story, Gyges had the guts to seduce the queen and kill the king and take over the kingdom. Bakit? Bakit ang tapang niya? Paano niya nagawa yun? Well, kasi wala naman siyang dapat katakutan. Kailangan niya na maging invisible and hindi na siya makikita. Hindi na siya magsasuffer ng injustice. Hindi niya i-face yung consequences. Glaucon also hypothesized that if there were two rings, and one was given to a just person, while the other was given to an unjust person, they would end up doing the exact same thing, to act unjustly. Bakit? Dahil kung susundin natin yung idea na necessity lang ang pagiging just ng isang tao, then hindi na kailangan magpakabuti ng just person. Kasi kahit gumawa siya ng masama, kailangan niya lang gamitin yung ring, di naman siya makikita, di masisira yung image niya, hindi siya magsasuffer ng injustice. Pero sige, sabihin natin, what if talagang ayaw ng just person na gamitin yung ring para gumawa ng masama? Ano mangyayari? According to Glaucon, of course, pupurihin natin yung taong yon, whoever that person is, for not doing injustice despite having the power to do so. Kasi kaya niya. Pwede siyang gumawa ng masama, hindi siya magsasuffer ng injustice, pero hindi niya ginagawa. So talagang mabuti siya. Sasabihin natin, ay, ang bait, napaka-pure. But in our minds, we will see him, her, they, or kahit sino man siya, as a fool for not utilizing his, her, their power. Pero bakit ba kailangan nating gumawa ng unjustly acts? Pwede naman nating makuha yung mga desires natin like money, fame, or honor through ethical ways, di ba? Well, definitely yes. Kaya naman talaga. Kaya naman nating makakuha ng mataas na marka without cheating. Kaya nating yumaman without stealing or pangurakot. The difference is that doing injustice is more profitable or more efficient than being just. One example is the case of corrupt politicians. May sweldo naman yung mga yan monthly. So ipunin lang nila yan, yayaman sila after ilang years, di ba? Pero pag nangungurakot sila galing sa mga tax or budget for government projects, mas mabilis silang yayaman since milyon-milyon yung nabubulsa nila. I included this quote of Lord Acton which states that all power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. What does he mean or what does he want to convey with this statement? Sinasabi niya na habang mas nagiging makapangyarihan ang isang tao, mas nagiging corrupted siya. An example of this is the government ulit. Pag ang mga officials sa LGU tulad ng mga barangay officers, barangay captain, and tanod na huling nangungurakot, mapaparusahan sila agad kahit part sila ng governing body ng barangay. Unlike in national government na pag nahuli kang nangungurakot, nahuli kang kumuha ng pera sa kaban ng bayan, hindi ka agad mapaparusahan and maaari mo pang takasan yung penalty. And syempre, since alam mong pwede naman pala akong gumawa ng unjustly acts without suffering the consequences, without facing the law, mas gugustuhin mong ulit mangurakot. Kasi wala kang dapat katakutan. Kailangan mo lang gamitin yung power mo, yung pera mo, yung connections mo. To conclude, basically what Glaucon wants to convey in the story The Ring of Gyges is that people are naturally unjust or evil. But we act justly and follow laws because it is a necessity, not because we know it is right. Having the power to prevent suffering injustice corrupts a person.